As New Orleans Saints training camp fast approaches, a critical update in the legal proceedings against star running back Alvin Kamara stemming from a fight last year in Las Vegas. Kamara's attorney says the 6-year pro pleaded no contest to a lesser misdemeanor charge today for a breach of peace. The 27-year-old Kamara will now have to complete 30 hours of community service and pay more than $105,000 in restitution damages, as well as a $500 fine. Despite avoiding felony charges, Kamara still remains a subject to potential discipline by the NFL under the league's personal conduct policy. The February 2022 altercation left the victim unconscious at a nightclub after being allegedly punched, kicked, and stomped by Kamara and 3 other men. Kamara went on to play in his 5th Pro Bowl the following day and was arrested after the game. The last 3 years, the last day of the MLB draft has fallen on the same day as the MLB All-Star game. Perhaps a reflective time of the year for guys like Devin Williams, now a 2-time National League All-Star, more than 10 years after being picked in the 2nd round of the 2013 draft by the Milwaukee Brewers. Before that, a star relief pitcher for the Biloxi Shuckers back in 2019 as a part of a relatively lengthy journey to the big leagues. In his 2nd year removed from Tommy John surgery, Williams was coming off a 5+ ERA in 2018, and according to a recent article on MLB.com, he attributes April 24th, a rough Wednesday night in Biloxi, as the turning point for his career. A few months later, Williams is in the show and is now one of the most lethal closers in all of baseball, thanks in large part to his changeup, better known as the Airbender. Williams pitched 5 of the final 8 days in the first half of the season, so he didn't pitch in tonight's All-Star game, but I got the chance to speak to Williams in Milwaukee on Tuesday, and he says bigger the setback, bigger the comeback.
Coming out of high school, I thought getting here would be a lot easier than it was. I thought it would be a smoother process, but I think the road I took here kind of shaped who I am and like the way I go about my business. So in the grand scheme of things, it was probably necessary. All the hurdles I had to overcome. It makes it easier. When you get into a tough situation now, because I've been at the bottom. I've been through some tough stuff, and you just got to keep going.
Williams has a 1.89 ERA and 20 saves so far this season. And check out the Seattle Supersonics inspired cleats he wore tonight. Former Shucker Corbin Burns also named to the NL All-Star team, his 3rd career selection. Southern Miss, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State combining for 10 MLB draft picks over the first 2 days of the draft, but just one on day 3 in the 20th and final round, courtesy of the New York Mets, selecting MSU junior outfielder Kellum Clark at 606 overall. Sunbelt Football Media Day is already just 2 weeks away, and as of today, we now know who's going to be at the podium for Southern Miss, of course, starting with 3rd-year head coach Will Hall, joined by star running back Frank Gore Jr. and senior safety Jay Stanley. The hot summer continues for Ocean Springs class of 2026 recruit Sherroyd Whitehead, who's up to a half-dozen Division I offers, pulling in TCU Sunday and now Kansas today. The rising sophomore has other looks from Oklahoma, Penn State, Florida State, and Virginia Tech. In 2022, Whitehead rushed 8 times for 72 yards with a 10-yard catch. Today, the Moss Point Hall of Fame Executive Committee announcing its inaugural class of 2023, set to be honored on September 21st. 16 of the 21 inductees attended one of the 2 pre-1970 high schools in Moss Point. 8 are Monarchs of Magnolia High School and 8 are Tigers of Moss Point High School, sometimes referred to as Central, while the remaining 5 are graduates from the combined Moss Point. And just a clarification here, the asterisk are posthumous representatives there. And pretty safe to say one day Devin Booker, now a star shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns, will be inducted one day as well.